Hello and good afternoon. This is Grillenheimer, take two. I don't have a lot to say, and I don't have a lot of time either. I've got some stuff to do. I'm on my lunch. As long as my camera doesn't fall, I'm okay. So far, so good. Anyway, had a bit of a stressful morning. I don't know how to say this without stepping on anyone's toes. The best thing I can say is that I'm kind of eating my own words. I'm not just talking to who I was talking to this morning, which will now be in the past. If they ever see this, I doubt they will. That neither one of us were listening very well. I did give some pretty good words of wisdom. I was a little bit harsh with it. But at the same time, I was lifting this person up, explaining a skill they have. How I can't believe you have this skill. You could be on jeopardy with all the knowledge you have almost at the flip of your finger. I did not have that kind of information and knowledge at your age. And this person is having one issue with another class, and I had spoken with the teacher, and the teacher was just like, very bright student, but they're not asking questions, which got me also thinking on another level. Normally, if a student is not asking questions, they either are disinterested, or they're so excellent they don't need to really ask any questions, or three, they're not learning. If you don't understand something, you need to ask questions. There's no question dumb enough. The only question that might be stupid if you're asking a question that has nothing related to the lesson at all. And that question will be out of line. But if it's in relation to the lesson, there are no dumb questions. But in oh gosh, I don't know how to explain this very well. But as parents and teenagers, I was a teenager at one time too. I didn't like being embarrassed. I didn't like being called out. When I was put on the spot, I was like a deer in the headlights. My parents were very to the point. They didn't beat around the bush. They didn't prevaricate about the bush or anything. And so many times, especially at home, I felt like the questions were the darts and I was the target. I was the dartboard. And yeah, those are my effects for this video. Sorry, no game. So, and as teenagers, everyone deals with situations differently. I understand that. And just because someone says, "I'm not you," in the most rude, arrogant tone possible, are we not both human? Do we not both bleed? Do we not have nearly the same blood, the near same DNA? Are we not related? Did we not begat you? We're more alike than you will ever imagine. And the person, well, forget about the person I'm talking about or thinking about. I'm not really talking about them. Performance. What things have you done that you've practiced and that you've worked on, that you have built up, and the goal was the performance? It could have been a single instrument. It could have been a single dance. It could have been a sport. It could have been a team effort. It could have been a band. In my instances, it was, here we go, I'm letting some personal information out. Piano. I played piano. somewhat seriously for 10 years at a young age, even though I started very late. It was just piano lessons. Okay, it was nothing very serious. I was not being paid for it. It was just simple piano lessons. I would have recitals. I would have solos. I would, try out for scholarships. But I never went further with piano other than my high school years. Once I finished the piano proficiency class, the professor's like, well, what are you still doing here? You passed piano proficiency weeks ago. And I'm like, but it's a class. I'm still here. So he just kept teaching me and giving me new music. And I was fine with that. He never told me when I passed. But that's not the point. But the point is, if you work hard and you practice and you know what hard work really is, and I'm going to go somewhere with this real quick after I make this quick little point, is that then if you have the gall or the cojones to get in front of a large audience and perform anything, sing a song, play an instrument, be in a band, do a dance, be in ballet, etc., on a football team, on a basketball team, you're going to feel good about yourself. You might feel a little down if you lost a game, but it depends on how well you played. And the coaches will let you know when you play well, even if you lose the game. Bad coaches will berate you and let you know all your mistakes without going into the good that you really did team-wise and individuals for the team, no matter if you lost or not. That's what I would call a bad coach. If that's all they do is center on the negative. Now, in the whole part of that is the goal. You performed, you were under pressure, not stress, pressure in front of a large group, and you did well. Did you faint? Did you pass out? Did you lock your knees? No, you were out there. You were doing it. You were doing what you had learned. You did it by memory. You knew where to go, what to do, how much pressure, how much wind, how much sound, the notes, the words, whatever you're doing. The point is you know it. And it took a path of knowledge to get there. You should be patting yourself on the back for getting that far. And when it's over, it should be a breath of fresh air, no matter how well or how bad you did. Everybody's going to be a critic. We are our worst critics. Now, as far as something else is concerned, and that's listening to our parents. If your brother and sister sins, go and point out their fault, but just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over. Matthew 18:15. And it's saying brothers and sisters. That just means everybody. So that can be from a brother and sister level, an acquaintance level, a friend level, even a parent to son or mother to daughter. You're still sisters in the family of God. We have to point out each other's faults. Those are what I would like to call unfortunate truths. Sometimes an unfortunate truth to learn about yourself is to hear it from somebody else. And nobody likes that. Nobody. We can do this all day. You're still going to hear it through your hands, possibly. And you know what you did. You know what the truth is. But you're running away from that truth, no matter what that truth is. And yes, I'm using a Bible verse here, but even just simply take God out of the equation. You're still running away from the truth when you're not listening. And if we're not pointing out each other's faults, if we're not taking the log out of our brother's eye, we're doing a disservice to them. if we so love each other, we need to point out each other's faults so we can be better people. And if you think just because you begat me, I'm indebted to love you, no. We love you because there is no conditional love. Love should always be unconditional. You can only see my head. What just happened? No, I'm doing so well. I'm just going to keep going. I'm so sorry. Whoever heeds discipline shows the way of life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. This is simply the old story of doing what you're told. I don't care how old you are. Whether it's my parents telling me to do something and they're older, I will still do it. I may not like it. I will still listen to them. And in ways, they still discipline me to some extent as an adult. But kids, I don't care if you're a 7-year-old kid, a 15-year-old kid, a 33-year-old kid. I'm a 40-something-year-old kid. Okay, and we're going to talk about maturity in the next video. If not the video after that. But let's just keep going. What is discipline? Is it whang, whang? That's a form, but that's not always discipline. Discipline is simply listening and doing. If your parent is telling you, you did this, you need to do that, why did you blah, 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 etc., etc., they are disciplining you with words. If you're hearing them, listening to them with your ear, mind, and heart in the right way, you will do it. Now, I was at a little scout troop meeting, and funny enough, this was one of their past lessons, was all about listening. And if the one person cannot listen and talk at the same time, or it's very hard to. If you are talking, your ears are not listening. Something else to think about. And if you're ignoring the discipline of your adult or whoever, older sibling, grandparent, whatever, and you're ignoring being corrected, how can you teach others any morality or any correction if you don't want to be corrected yourself? I know somebody personally that has had issue with this. I'm not naming any names. They're not my kids. And they've gotten better over the years. They really have. Really have. But I remember years ago, sometimes our egos get in the way of wisdom. And sometimes our egos get in the way of learning. What is learning? Gosh, I'm running out of time. Learning is kind of a change in mindset. Yeah, learning is gaining new synapses in our brain when we learn something new. But we can learn all sorts of things new. What have my videos been mostly about? Change. You can change. Now, let's put this all together. This is the bow on the package, okay, everybody? James 1:19. Brothers and sisters, take note of this. And then it says everyone. It's not. It's talking to parents. It's talking to grandparents, sons, daughters. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. And this morning I was a little bit quick to anger. I was trying to be very slow to anger. But the words I was hearing were twisting my own words into something I never said. So obviously I'm going to have to stand up and defend myself. Because my words were twisted and lashed out at me in a completely different way for a spiteful reason. And all I was trying to do was illustrate a skill in lifting the person up in a positive way to help start their day. This person decided to go the opposite direction. Now my tone, I don't like the sound of my voice. I sound a lot like the people of my own family. And so I might have a voice that sounds somewhat arrogant. I'm not trying to be arrogant. My own wife will get mad at me because I've asked a question. She's taken it the wrong way. She doesn't take the statement for what it is. And I'm not trying to be higher than thou, holier than thou, or anything. Sometimes it's just the inflection of my voice and the intonation of my voice, in which we all have to learn to what? Change? Control? Wow, we need to just be living on the verge of chaos all the time. Our throttle full out with no holds barred. But we don't need rules. We don't need to be doing what we're told. But whoever heeds discipline shows the way of life. But whoever ignores correction leads others astray. We have to rein in some control. We have to pull back our emotions. And as teenagers, yes, your emotions, everything's bubbling up. Girls sometimes worse than boys. Boys sometimes worse than girls at a certain age. It's all the same. We're all flesh and blood. We're all brain. And we've got to learn some self-control. And being a teenager is what this time period for you is all about. I've gone long. Thank you for listening. And just one last note. Let me just read Luke 11:28. Blessed, rather, are they who hear the word of God and obey it. I take God out, fine. Blessed are those who listen to their parents. Blessed are those who listen to adults, who listen to their superiors, and obey it. Not much of a difference, is there? But God is the God of all of us, and we are in the family of God, if you believe that. I hope you do. Have a great day, and thank you for listening.